My name is Andalis. I'm 38 years old and I graduated from Boston College Law School in 2009. I'm a patent attorney at a multinational biotechnology company working in Silicon Valley. I grew up in San Diego, California, and I went to undergraduate school at UCLA. Then I moved to Boston, where I went to Massachusetts Institute of Technology to get a PhD in molecular biology, and I followed that up with law school here at Boston College.
Alex was a student in a large first-year criminal law section. On the first day of class, I asked students to fill out a card telling me some information about themselves. And the main thing I remember from his card is that he had a PhD from MIT, and wow. My name is Sharon Beckman, and I'm a clinical professor at Boston College Law School.
Although I still had a strong interest in working in technology, I wanted to address it from a different perspective. And for me, that was being a patent attorney. That allowed me to be involved in the industry without being a scientist. I decided to come to Boston College Law School because it was a great law school. It had a great reputation. It had a name that I knew was going to travel with me if I decided not to live in Massachusetts.
I went to law school knowing that what I wanted to do was be a criminal defense lawyer. After I graduated law school, I had the opportunity to do two clerkships, one with Sandra Day O'Connor on the Supreme Court. After I finished clerking for Justice O'Connor, I did come back to Boston and became a criminal defense lawyer. I joined the faculty at Boston College Law School in 1996. I co-teach a clinic where my students essentially are public defenders in the Dorchester division of the Boston Municipal Court.
She encouraged me to apply for the BC Defenders Clinic. My participation in the clinic allowed me to explore a completely different side of the law than I think I would have.
Alex has a really special combination of being brilliant and being humble and wanting to do something really positive with his abilities. He didn't really talk in class, but gradually after class, he would come up and talk to me about something that had been discussed in class, and his questions were so interesting. Over the course of the semester, you could tell he was becoming more and more drawn to the subject matter. He had this interest in criminal law. He cared about fairness and justice, and he wanted to have the experience actually representing a human being, an individual client, while he was in law school, to know what that was like. But he wasn't sure he belonged in a clinic full of people whose life aspiration was to be a defense lawyer or a prosecutor. And that's when I came up with the idea of encouraging him to think about the criminal justice clinic in his third year of law school.
Being in the BC Defenders Clinic allowed me to be responsible for somebody that had their livelihood at stake, and to stand up in court and to argue for them. It sort of educated me about how to be a practicing attorney. I don't think that she would have asked me to apply for the clinic if she didn't think that I was going to be successful.
I knew that he would be a really good addition to the criminal justice clinic because a big part of what we do in the clinic is reflection. And he's such an incredibly thoughtful, reflective person. He was really good at figuring out what all of the legal issues were. He was a really hard worker. As somebody who had already been in the business world, he was really well organized and already good at case management. The BC Defenders meet their clients in a cage in the basement of the courthouse. So their clients have been arrested the night before, they're in custody, and the student has to go down to the lockup and say, "Hi, I'm your attorney, and I'm a third-year student at Boston College Law School." Okay, to do that takes a lot of confidence.
When I'm challenged now with something that I don't necessarily have a lot of expertise in, I have the confidence knowing that I did something very different and I was successful at it. And so there's no reason to believe that I couldn't do something else and be successful at it. I set out to become a patent attorney before I came to law school, and I am a patent attorney today. I'm doing something that I love doing. I feel like I still have a very close contact with my initial goal of doing something that I feel like is helping society.
I'm unbelievably proud of the lawyer that he's become. He works with scientists that are researching food for the world that's safer and more economically sustainable. It's very exciting. And in his work, he goes to the farm to see how his products are being used. He goes to the lab to meet with the scientists that are doing the work that he's patenting. I mean, who would think a patent lawyer can save the world?